Okay, everyone. Hello. Welcome back. It's Brian. Mr. Betcher is tired from cutting down a tree today, and Miss Berlin may be able to make it later. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens. So, this is Breaking Down Security. It is the 16th of April, and I do have a guest with me this week, though. You know him, you love him. I'm pointing left for those of you on the audio podcast. It's Joe Gray. Welcome, Joe.
How's it going? I thought today my name was Mr. Betcher.
No, no, no. We already tried that, a couple weeks ago. It didn't go over so well. So
But
yeah.
ChatGPT told me I was.
Well, then I'm a better social engineer than you are at this point.
Oh, darn.
Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, Super Lolly, what's up? I'd like to welcome all of our people who join us regularly on our stream here. I do have a couple surprises. I'd like to thank 0x Display Error for following us as well. So we have a sponsor now. We have Blumera Security, which, for those of you who watch our show regularly, our streams and our podcasts, is the company Miss Berlin works for. And we've had them sponsoring us in the past, and they do a lot of great work. They are going to be sending me the official 20-second script that I'm going to be reading with them, and we're going to have some interviews with them coming up. But what I wanted to do is just kind of read some stuff off of their website. It will change later on, but Blumera is a SIM plus detection and response for IT teams. Blumera's all-in-one security tool helps you prevent ransomware and breaches. It identifies threats 99.4% faster. Access of their security operations team that they have. Of course, you would also get the expertise of Miss Amanda Berlin, who is also one of the co-hosts of the BreakSec podcast and stream. It satisfies cyber insurance and compliance, and you can get up and running in minutes. And you can go and sign up for free. You can discover the platform. There's a video on their website where you can, check out an easy demo on that. Their platform unifies endpoint security, SIM logging, detection and response to identify threats and other security tools, other threats that security tools may miss. And they'll send you real-time alerts in under a minute of initial detection to help you respond to threats faster than ever. They also do a lot to automate. So their security team and engineers manage their automated platform, keeping it up to date with the latest detection rules. We do all the heavy lifting for your team to save them time while reducing noisy alerts. 24/7 support for critical priority issues is included. So, you can go and check them out at blumera.com. That's Blumera, BLUMIRA.com. And they're a sponsor of the podcast now, at least until the end of July. So we're going to have a couple of speakers and interviewers come back on and do some stuff about Blumera and SIMs and logging and what have you. So yeah, go check them out. And, I guess we're going to continue on with the show here. So, Joe, thank you for your patience there. We're still trying to figure out all the nuances of that. We literally, finished that up while I was on vacation. You and I were talking a little bit before the podcast and on Discord about the vacation. Have you ever been to New York?
I was in the Navy stationed in southeastern Connecticut with a car
Okay.
2 hours away.
Okay.
Um, I will say this, I was under the age of 21 when I was stationed there, and this
Mm.
was 2003. So the only thing you needed for your ID to say you were 21 was a uniform. So yes, I've been to
Okay.
New York a
Okay.
few times, and I
Nice.
returned. I think it was 2017 or 2018. I spoke at a conference in Times Square called Hack NYC. It was really cool. I don't think they've
Oh,
done it anymore, but it was super cool.
right. Yeah.
But
I had a friend of mine just over in Jersey. They're trying to get into the industry, and I was trying to remember all the conferences they have up there. And they have HushCon. They have B-Sides New York as well, which happens. Tom
they have a
Brennan
DEF CON
apparently does
chapter
Hack
in.
NYC Metro. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then they have their DEF CON chapter there. And then
Right.
every other year, in the, I believe, even numbered years.
Hmm.
So not this year, I think. I may be wrong. They also host Hackers on Planet Earth, Hope, which is kind of like the East Coast
Oh
DEF CON.
yeah. 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 Okay. Hope. Hackers on
And
Planet Earth.
I mean, I'm sure they have smaller, more RSA-ish conferences in that area as well. So
Right.
not entirely sure, but you know. But honestly, you have my sympathy for getting your ducks in a row because, for your listeners, if you're not aware, I made a return to podcasting recently. I didn't do it on purpose, but it just made sense. So getting all the ducks in a row, yeah, that's 90% of maintaining a podcast is herding all the cats for the podcast to make sure you have the audio, the video, you get it uploaded wherever you need it on time, you have the right descriptions. And then the other 10% is actually doing it. And that's the easy part.
Right. Right. Yeah.
After you,
I've tried transcriptions and it's been more miss than hit for me. So, but yeah, yeah.
we'll play with it. I will take the video from this and I'll try it in what I've been using. It
Okay.
seems to work really well for the most part. One big thing that I've noticed that came from mine, honestly, is I have become far more aware of the filler words I use, and I don't really use them as much. I'm now becoming
Right.
more aware of my awkward pauses in the middle of a sentence that the AI believes to be where a period should be as opposed to a comma or no punctuation.
Right.
So, yeah, something to be
Okay.
neurotic about.
Yeah, when I was first doing my podcast, it would take me probably half a day, a Sunday, all day to do a 45-minute podcast, and I would try to get the ums and the uhs and the awkward pauses and everything. And it was only after. So I used to listen to Southern Fried Security, which had um, Martin Fisher
Martin,
on it and everything. Yeah, and we had him on an episode, and I asked him, I was like, "How do you do your workflow for your podcast?" And he's like, it takes me like 5 minutes to edit my podcast and get it out. And after that, I was like, huh, maybe I shouldn't care so much about all the ums and ahs and
exactly.
what have you. And then, yeah, so now podcast is super easy to get out once I pull the audio out of the video stream and what have you. And so we're on about the 8th iteration of our podcast right now on how I do audio. I used to, Mr. Betcher and I used to 3, 2, 1, sync our audacities up. And then it was like, we would use Skype, and then I would record things with the Tascam that I had and everything. So I'm like on the 8th iteration. I finally kind of got it down to an art. It only took me about a decade to get it done. So now I
Well,
just rip
honestly,
everything out of the audio on the video here. So
I mean, Zoom makes it so easy
it does.
nowadays, just because you just hop on Zoom, you can put it immediately to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, all of that.
Yep.
You hit record, it's recording, you've got all of that going on, and it's just so easy. And honestly, when I'm editing, if I even use Zoom to record like just regular YouTube videos that's just me because it's so much easier than me getting up, doing the green screen stuff, readjusting the camera. Just use
Right.
the virtual background. It works really well. I don't worry about editing the ums, uhs, stutters, or when someone's getting really excited about something and be like, but, or whatever. I don't worry about that anymore for like a stream, but for like a YouTube video or a training session, I will. Where I do worry about it is in the subtitles.
Right.
That's the
Right.
only place that I worry about it. And I just go through, I edit the ums out. I try to edit the word repeating, and that's about it.
Yep.
And from there, it's like, hey, this is a labor of love. We're I have the utmost respect and love for Paul and Security Weekly, but Paul Security Weekly, the whole Security Weekly ecosystem is a business, and they treat it as such. So, as a byproduct, they have an incentive to have a much more polished product than people like
Right.
you or myself that's doing this as a labor of love and a hobby.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't my side gig, it wasn't like, if it isn't like a Darknet Diaries or something where, I don't make rent if I don't, find enough sponsors or something like that, yeah, that would, I would be spending much more time on that if it was my primary job. So,
Yeah,
but
and having
I always still like to put out a good product, a good sounding product. Cause for a long time I was like, if your audio podcast is your product, and if your product sounds like shit, then you are shit in many cases. So same thing with
it's
video. It's
whatever.
like I have a DSLR and I started out with like, webcam and stuff. And it's like, if your product is shit, then people are going to think you're shit. And, so, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, there's a difference between having a super polished, super professional product that is at the level of Security Weekly and having something that you take pride in.
Right.
So I understand that. And, please don't think that I was trying to say, oh,
Oh,
well,
no, no.
Security
Yeah.
Weekly is the greatest and you're shit. But, with Security Weekly having been on the show in studio a few times, the studio itself, you see the host and the guests that are actually online. What you don't see is in the adjacent room, you have one or more producers, the cat herder, and then you have the actual engineers running everything,
Yep.
plus the whole server rack and everything else. So it's not, it's not that Paul and company don't do work. It's just they have an enormous staff helping them
Right.
achieve that product.
Right. Right. Yep. Yeah, and that's, I mean, they're reaping the benefits of their years of work, and we all want to be them, or we all want to be Darknet Diaries one day, where we have hundreds of thousands of people listening to our stuff every day, and or
Yeah.
Risky Business, where they've turned their reporting into a business, which we all love that. So, hey, Walt, hello from Walla Walla. Oh, well, good that you were able to come in and check us out, Walt. I appreciate that. So, we digressed a little bit. We had Joe on, not as because nobody else could join me on the stream this week. We actually having him on to talk about some ChatGPT stuff. And for those of the people who originally came here looking for that, we're going to talk about that. And actually, something that I found was kind of interesting on my vacation about something called jailbreaking AI. So we have a couple of links for that as well. And so Joe, for those people who have been living under a rock, or been in a coma for the last 28 days and woke up to a zombie movie, what is ChatGPT? We'll just go ahead and start with that.
ChatGPT, in layperson's terms, it's using a large language model, an LLM, specifically generative predictive text. That's what the GPT stands for. It's ChatGPT itself is a product of OpenAI, which is a company that affords you the ability to go in and somewhat conversationally speak with the AI, depending on which version of GPT you're on. There's version 3, 3.5, and 4. Version 3 cut off, I believe, in December of 2021. GPT-4 is more up to date. You can get more data from it, but you actually have to pay for that as well.
Okay.
It affords you the ability to go in. In some cases, you can just ask a simple question. You can have it help you write something. You can have it write code. You can feed it code and have it clean it up. Admittedly, I've used it for a few different things. Starting with the OSINT, my training company, it's literally me. I create all the
Right.
material, I maintain the Discord, I maintain the social medias, all of that fun stuff. And then I turn around and I give the training, I give the talks, whatever. Admittedly, I suck at marketing. You would think as a social engineer that would not be the case, but it is. The way I present something on social media or just in written text is not always the most, let's say, aesthetically pleasing to an audience. So I may write up what I want to say and then say, ChatGPT, improve this.
Right.
And literally I feed whatever it is I was saying into ChatGPT. It cleans it up. I proofread it, see if I like it. If I like it, I go with it. If I don't, I say try again or something else, or I'll provide critique. Some other use cases for it. I like to use it to create backstories for fake accounts, SOC accounts. So to that end, I may say, hey, create a backstory for Helen Johnson, sales professional, or something to that effect. And in doing so, what happens is it will create a backstory for us to be able to have on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Or we may say, hey, a side project of this is called Dolly, and that creates images for you, that generates images. So you can say, create an image of Helen Johnson, sales professional, and it'll do that. And basically that's the big appeal for it. You can also use it to say, hey, I'm trying to do this particular Google dork. write a Google dork to achieve the following. So there's a lot of really good use cases for it. Admittedly, I've been spending a little bit more time on LinkedIn than I have Twitter as of late.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people talking AI, open AI, ChatGPT, this and that. I'm going to be doing a private training next week. I can't divulge any other details about it aside from it's basically OSINT and OPSEC and ChatGPT and intelligence as a whole.
Mm.
We're seeing accusations of plagiarism.
Right.
I've seen some people on Twitter, or I'm sorry, LinkedIn, that have pointed out that they've been dropping some text that people are posting to LinkedIn into GPT detection tools, and they're scoring like 98%.
Hmm.
So that's a bit problematic, but it's a matter of time before someone does that.
Right.
It's the next evolution in not trusting anything on the internet. So honestly, for those of us who do OSINT and OPSEC and Intel and social engineering, it's business as usual for us. We don't trust anything anyway.
Right.
So realistically, it is a disruptor. It's a positive disruptor in many cases. It's a negative disruptor in other cases because we've already seen cases of it passing the bar, it passing the LSAT, and also going a little bit further to write research papers for people for college and things like that. I've seen stories about those cases, but the same thing can be done with Google. Is it really any different if you have GPT write it as opposed to hitting copy and paste? And, from my own perspective, I'm going to say no.
Right. So, Age of Music, who's one of our regular listeners or watchers, has said, I found that obfuscating the images by applying a slight Gaussian blur and mild rotation in an image editor does miles of work to avoid detection on profile pics. Most detection algorithms are checking eye reflection symmetry.
And to that point, if I can, I'm going to share the screen here. I'm going to kill my camera momentarily
Okay.
and I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to point out the thing that I love about OpenAI's Dolly. So right here is the OSINT possum. I literally put in a detailed description. All I want is the OSINT possum, and that's it. But I
Okay.
also said Joe Gray OSINT professional.
None of them are yours, but you've got a messed up eyeball on at least a couple of them. Yeah.
Yes, in fact, in almost every single one of them. Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's a bit
Ugh.
off.
Bit. No, man. Reminds me of that Steve Buscemi picture.
Yep, that looks good to me. Meme.
Yeah.
This right here, glass. Like you could easily pass that as a glass eye and a combat veteran type thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's one round of people who are allegedly me.
Right.
Let me see if I can find the I no, that's the only ones. But with the ones looking for the eye symmetry, I like using Dolly for the purpose of the eyes are not symmetric. They came out looking bad. Um well, not necessarily bad, but in the OSINT and OPSEC world, we always talked about this person does not exist.com,
Right.
right?
Right.
And the problem with this person does not exist, it was so easy for detection because the XY coordinates of both eyes were identical in every single image. And I'll even pull it up on LinkedIn. Benjamin Strick, which is another OSINT researcher out there. You should totally follow him. He goes by Bendo Brown on Twitter. He's a Bellingcat contributor. He's former BBC. I forget the exact name of the organization he works at now, but he is epic at OSINT. He basically tore some pieces of paper and set them up on his desk right next to his screen, aligned them on the eyes, and went through a few thousand pictures in a matter of seconds, and they were identical. And he's like, yeah, these are all fake accounts. But
Hmm.
like, I went in and I said, Veronica Vaughn, sales professional. And like any of these pictures, you could, like this one, I don't think you could get away with. The one on the left, no. Either of these two, you could use these as fake accounts on LinkedIn. Like if
Oh yeah.
someone sent me a connection request as either of those two pictures, claiming they're a sales professional, I don't really accept LinkedIn requests from sales professionals, but if I did,
Right.
that checks with chart. Same
Right.
thing right here. Karen Smith, sales professional.
These are all
Like
actually
there's
pretty good. These aren't well. The one on the fourth one has an eyeball issue, but yeah, three and four of these aren't bad. I mean,
exactly.
wow.
The only thing
Yeah.
is you've got to cut this little prism thing here out. That is another opportunity for
Uh,
detection.
okay.
There's
Okay.
another opportunity for detection I'll show you as well. So like right here, this is also Karen Jones. I mean, none of these really stand out of the ordinary,
Right. Well, I don't know
right?
too many. I don't know too many Karens that are you know identify or So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't it
And
would
with
be
the
a harder sell for Karen to be the first picture instead of the other three. So
right. And I mean, the clock in this one's wonky, and we've
oh
got
yeah,
headphones to nowhere in this one, but the other two
right,
absolutely checks with chart. And
yeah,
these are all things that I've done with regards to um uh using Dolly. And I'll tell you, like I said before we went on, I did a presentation yesterday with some youth in Baltimore, and I pulled down one of my images from ChatGPT, and I'm just getting it right here. I'm just going to drag and drop it here in photo forensics. There's another opportunity for detection as well. Uh, an advanced adversary would actually go beyond the would I would hope an advanced adversary would not fall for this, but you know, it is what it is. Another way you can look at detection is the error level analysis on this in photo forensics. This is not normal. It does not look normal at all.
right,
But if we look here at metadata, it points out that it was created with OpenAI Labs.
right.
So, granted, if you put this on social
Hmm.
media, though, it's not going to flag because social media, I'm not going to say all, most social media websites strip most, if not all, of the metadata out. So you might not have that opportunity for detection. But
Right.
also, I'm getting an image here. Um, Here it is. Um, so with the error level analysis, note how this looks, right? So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to upload another image. It's a landscape image that a student sent to me for demonstration purposes in a class.
Right. Oh
Notice
yeah.
how the error level analysis is here. That's a big difference. So that's another opportunity for detection. I saw an article on LinkedIn yesterday. I forget who shared it. It was someone that does like really high end OSINT, someone that obviously I follow for a reason. But they were showing the pictures that were being circulated, some of the deep fake images that were being circulated, where there were claims that there was a massive crowd of people supporting Trump as he went into the courthouse in New York for his indictment.
Right.
So, um, yeah, but there's so many different avenues that you can go with OpenAI. But I mean, I love doing this stuff for the fake accounts. So,
Yeah.
and with the names, don't think I'm resting on the common names.
Right. Yeah, as somebody who was in New York when that happened, the local news basically said there was it definitely a misinformation or disinformation campaign there because everybody was saying New York hates you, New York hates. That was what they were chanting as he was driving by in his motorcade. So um, we weren't down at the protest, but we definitely we definitely heard about it. So it was kind of interesting to see what
Yeah.
was going on there.
The
Um,
highlight of it for me was seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene being escorted out
oh
because
my,
her fan club showed up. And when I say her fan club, I'm saying that with some extreme snark.
definitely fan club, like singular fan. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
Well, she was there, so her fan club was there,
right. No,
but
that's true.
it's not
Yeah.
her rural audience that she normally caters to.
Ah, okay. All right, so we've got a couple things in our show notes here. We mentioned what ChatGPT is. Some SE applications. We'll definitely add more to that as we're going along. You mentioned ChatGPT versus Analyst. Now, to give people background, I know next to nothing about ChatGPT, which is why I had Joe come on because he's been dabbling with it more than I have. And I'll get to that question in a second. Age of Music. I literally just signed up for the ChatGPT account less than 20 minutes ago. I signed up. I have it. I tried a few queries like, explain what a sous vide is, and I'm getting something went wrong. If the issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help.openai. I want to ask about what analyst is, but before that, how it seems like that the availability of these AI systems are. Um, I've only done 2 attempts at asking a question of this thing or asking it to explain something to me. So um, there's a syntax. It's almost like you have to know a programming language to get the most out of it, right? You showed me some stuff with Python that I'm sure we'll demonstrate later. But if you don't ask the right question, you don't get the right answer from it. Or in this case, I get nothing from it. I don't know if it's because OpenAI is down or whatever, but how much, I mean, it's obviously getting easier, but what's the barrier here for people? I mean, do you have to have an advanced degree? Obviously not, but I mean,
No.
can anybody and their brother use Chat GPT?
Anyone can use it. If you can type and connect to the internet, you can use it. And what it really boils down to is it's the age-old phrase. Anyone that's viewing this that has ever heard me give a talk or sat in any of my training or heard me talking just in hallway con about social engineering or OSINT, like any sort of intelligence work, it's not what you ask, but how you ask it.
Mm,
So,
okay.
for example, I'll hop into the OpenAI playground and share the screen. I'll do exactly what I did when we were tinkering before we came on.
Okay.
So, let's go with this.
Because I just asked, explain what a sous vide is, and I'm getting something went wrong. And I don't know if that's because I didn't phrase it correctly, in the form of a question like Jeopardy, or maybe it's too big a question to get it to answer.
So in
I
this
mean,
in this case in the playground, um, I just straight up said write a ransomware script in Python, and um, there you go.
we ask people
So,
not to, copy this
yeah,
word for word and what have you.
yeah.
So,
I'm not gonna test. I've got a Jupyter notebook open, but I'm not about to test it on my VPS to find out. And I don't know whose Bitcoin address this is. I do
jeez.
feel like I did just copy it so that I can be nosy and play with it later. Um, just so that I can see whose address that is, because that is legitimate Bitcoin address syntax. So I'm not entirely sure there. If we go into like a proper Chat GPT session, um,
All right, let me try it again here. I'm gonna create a new chat, and then I'm gonna say, uh, write a
oh look,
Golang script for downloading
so it's
files.
telling me Python can't do it. So, all right, write a ransomware script in Python. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Write a script in Python that will encrypt all files on a computer
Uh,
without the user knowing the key.
oh, Now, see why is it working when you ask a question and I don't get anything? I get something went wrong. Is it because I'm too new to the system, or you have to wait, or have to be verified, or something? Did I
Um,
did I do something wrong? Maybe did I have to verify my email address or something? I don't know.
admittedly, on this version of what you're seeing on this screen, this is the paid version. Uh,
Right.
I I do have a credit card tied to this one. The playground, I don't.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, mine's just chat.openai.com. I mean, I have obviously the free tier, so that means I have you're gonna have to pay to use this kind of stuff. It sounds like
so well, no, with this one, yeah. Change your URL to platform.openai.com/playground.
platform.openai. .openai/playground. Oh yeah, okay. Um, Let me explain what a sous vide
Oh, there
is.
we go. Oh, this one right here, this is gonna encrypt everything in AES.
Nice. Well, not nice, but
And what it's doing is it's copying the files and then deleting the originals. So this one right here is pretty ugly.
hmm.
I don't know if it would work. I'm not going to try it out, but
Right.
looking at the syntax for things I've written in the past that iterate across directories, yes. Uh, the one thing I see here is the working directory, that portion, but it's only doing all of the files in a particular directory. So it's not going to do the entire system. So you would have to tweak the code to make that portion work.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I'm beginning to see what I did wrong here, because the open, yeah, this one is like, um, they said it was supposed to be for conversational bits only. I put my what is a sous vide in the playground version, and I did get an answer, which is
yep.
correct, which is great. My question is, okay, so there's a lot of discussion about Age of Music asked a question. So photo forensics, can you cover a bit more on the ELA analysis? We'll get that in a second, but um, it's pulling down data from the internet, right? So let's
Well,
say they
it's not
pull
pulling
down.
down from the internet, it's operating off of trained data.
Okay.
So it's a point in time.
Okay. So there are parts of the internet that are less than correct. Um, do they do their best to keep? I'm assuming, and please tell me if you don't know, that's cool too. But they curate what the AI sees, right? They're not giving it like open fire hose, pull everything from you know all the triple X sites all the way up to National Geographic and everything in between to pull this information. They're curating certain things on the website, right?
One would think. I don't know for certain, but I will say that because this is a commercial product, they have an incentive to curate and make sure that they're not putting junk data in there.
Right. Okay.
So I've got ChatGPT set up here to write a LinkedIn profile biography for Brian Brake, the most successful InfoSec podcaster in the world.
Well, see, it's obviously wrong then. So that's you know its data set is very limited.
I don't know about that.
Oh my god. Oh, see, now it's definitely wrong. It called me a freaking thought leader, filthy bastards. I
Well,
want my money back.
it also said UCLA, but that is something I've also noticed. Every time you hang on, create a resume for Brian Brake, most um
The University of California at Los Angeles is kind of interesting because I've only been to Los Angeles. I have not been to UCLA's campus even. I just finished up some Harvard stuff. So what I'm wondering is maybe this is to keep people from copy pasting blindly. It's kind of like how map makers used to put in fake towns on their map. If you were to copy paste that in and to a resume or something, um, they even spelled breaking wrong. Look at them. XYZ Corporation. Yep, that's because I didn't advertise who I. ABC Corporation. Oh, this is the fake information. Yeah, Bachelor's of Science. Wow, I wish I had a BC and CS or BS and CS. That would be nice. I'm not a CEH. I don't have a C-risk. I don't have a CISM. I
Yeah,
do have
it's
my
not based off
CISP.
of accurate information, but I will tell you that if I put in an actual address and a legit phone number here and a legit email,
Yeah.
I if somebody submitted this resume here, you would probably get some calls back.
Well, from a recruiter, yeah, that's a really low bar to be honest. But
It is,
yeah,
but I mean, honestly, what year did you start BDS?
2014.
Okay, so
2014.
the 2010's wrong,
Right, right.
but honestly, I mean, this is informed enough. What I will say is I've made several fake resumes in this, and almost every single time it says UC Irvine, UC Davis, UCLA. It
Okay.
always
Okay.
something in the University of California ecosystem
Right,
every
right.
single time. So it's not that it's doing it to try to put you in California. It's just, that's the data that it's feeding.
You know what? You mentioned you mentioned putting in the wrong universities and stuff. Um, I'm wondering if George Santos had ChatGPT create his resume for him.
That's a distinct possibility, but honestly, I think giving him enough credit to say that he would be clever enough to use Chat GPT, probably not.
He did lie about his education, so I'm just maybe he.
Well, I mean, how do you know if he's lying? If he's breathing?
That's true. That's
It's
true.
with most politicians, you say, how is someone lying? Oh, if their lips are moving. No, with this guy, he's breathing.
He's breathing. He's looking at a camera. Yeah. Um, yeah. You made me think of that. So, yeah, I mean, a recruiter with that resume that was generated by this thing would definitely, hit somebody up. I think, I think you're right about that. So there is some things that it gets wrong. My thing was, I wonder if it does it on purpose. And I
I
mean,
think it is. I
yeah.
I I do believe it is. I think part of it, honestly, is so for example, with my LinkedIn, right? Um, just with my own LinkedIn profile, I have an eyeball emoji before my name. I have um a disclaimer saying I am not a decision maker. I'm not open to sales pitches, all that fun stuff. Uh, I have that there. And then I also have another little gotcha on it. Um, the browser I have open is the one that I'm actually signed into LinkedIn with, so I'm not going to open it. But I also have the phrase Tiananmen Square in there as well to block myself from the Great Firewall. So I think that in some cases, the UCLA perspective or just the University of California perspective, I would not be surprised if OpenAI has not shared methods of detection with um with three-letter agencies and law enforcement. And actually, I'm going to share the screen again because there's two other things about combating this that we probably should hit on. So I'm just going to copy and paste this specific phrase. And then right here, I've got GPT radar. This is looking for AI generated stuff.
See, that
So,
makes me wonder if it knows to look for certain
well, look at
things
this.
like shut up. 72% accuracy. Wow. That's
But
pretty good.
um, let's try it with this right here, and we'll get the results. Oh, got to agree to terms of service.
So we're looking
So
at something called Chat GPT Zero right now. So your text may include parts written by an AI. Okay. But it's not
so
the
this
whole
part
thing.
Right. So this part, the highlighted portion is the part that it's picking up on.
Right.
Um, this one right here was created by Edward Tien. He's a researcher at Princeton. And within a week, he got some really solid publicity on it. Within a week, he had over 1 million users on GPT-0. So it appears to be a little bit more accurate than, like, say, GPT Radar. There's a whole massive chunk of this that you can go through. And I mean, honestly, just going through and changing like some of the wording
Sure.
will alter this pretty easily.
Right. Yeah, and one of the things that you had mentioned, plagiarism was a thing, academic, academic reputation of putting in original thought instead of just having ChatGPT write it. This is almost like a virus total thing, where you're creating a payload that you want to get around, endpoint security or antivirus detections or what have you. You tweak it just a little bit. You run it through a Shikata. I know I'm probably dating myself there. There's probably better ones out there, but you keep at it until your detectors there are going to say, oh, it looks completely human generated. So people are going to massage that, and depending
Yeah.
on how much massaging has to be done to turn it into human readable text versus AI generated text, may be worth the time and effort if you're writing a book or something like that.
Uh yeah. I mean, I'll say this. It's like with malware, you've got to obfuscate enough strings to where the same strings don't pick up. You've
Right.
got to get the hash changed. You've got to get not just the linear hash, you've got to get the fuzzy hash changed as well. And then of course file size and a few other things. So, with GPT, it would be kind of similar. I mean, like for example, if I were rewriting this, I would probably cut out the part about the numerous articles and publications because you've been more of a podcaster than a blogger.
Right.
Um, I would say that you run a very successful Discord, and you've worked for companies that people have heard of or something to that effect. Like honestly,
Right.
if I were doing this and I were actually trying to pose as you on LinkedIn, I would do the OSINT to be able to put things in there and actually make it line up,
Right.
just so that, you know, it's, I really hate to sound like an elementary school teacher, but, it's that little bit extra that makes things extraordinary.
Right. Yeah, you're going that you're doing that extra bit to get yourself a little further.
Well,
You're
yeah,
not doing bare minimum like everyone else. You're just putting it up a skosh. So
it, I'll put it this way. It's like in the social engineering world. If you try to social engineer Walmart and you send a phishing email talking about all employees of Walmart are required to do this, you're not going to succeed. Do you know why?
uh, because all employees would be a tip off.
They don't use the word employees. Their
Oh.
inner lingo is for the word associates. Just like at Disney,
Oh.
they
Cast
call them
members.
cast members.
Right.
So if you send an email out saying all cast members are required to complete this training by close of business on Thursday, bam. If you say all employees, it ain't going nowhere.
That is
So
interesting. That's one of
yeah,
those things that if you didn't do your OSINT, you wouldn't find that out, or you didn't
it-
do your due
yeah.
diligence.
You
Yeah.
don't do your OSINT, you try that fish, you are going to have like you're not gonna have like steamed fish, you're not going to have, smoked fish, you are going to have like um fish cracklings more or less.
Right. Right.
Um Same thing, Subway sandwich artist. I don't know if that's the lingo they use at like the mothership of Subway, so to speak. But yeah, same thing. It's knowing the lingo because, like, I've seen some companies call their employees operators. Some of them call them cast members, associates. I've seen partners. Um, there's so many different terms that one could use for that.
Right. Right. So yeah, it's
That
hey,
looks
they
like that's
use
from
this.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, the subway site uses the same yellow background you do for your slides, so that's nice. That's good. Except they
Oh,
have a
that
green. They have a green color, yellow and green. So
yeah.
okay.
That used to be
So
my favorite prank call was always to call them and ask how much a ticket to New York was.
nice, nice on the subway. Yeah, yeah. Um,
They'd be like, "Sir, this is a sandwich store." I'd be like, "Oh, you need to be more you need to be more verbose in your phone book listing."
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, when's the A train running? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So before we get too far down here on the list, I don't know what ELA is, but Age of Music had asked about ELA analysis on photo forensics. So this is the site, and they're talking about um, ELA. What is ELA in this case?
ELA, honestly, I am not the most well versed on ELA, to
Error
be
levels.
entirely honest.
Okay.
It is error level analysis. I will tell you that.
Okay.
I will say that through some of my research as of late, as you know, Bellingcat is kind of coming under fire from some of the alt-right right now because Eric Toller, one of the Bellingcat contributors, helped New York Times identify the leaker of the super
Right.
classified stuff.
Right.
Uh, I will tell you that I personally block Bellingcat at my router, and I have a specific reason for it, and it's nothing negative against them. It's that if I find myself on Bellingcat, I will start reading things, and my entire day's productivity is gone.
Hmm. Well, there's that's probably fine praise for your
It,
site is so addictive. I can't do anything else. I just waste a day. Yeah.
they are like, you know, I struggle with the whole phrase OSINT guru, OSINT expert, because in my eyes, there's only one, and his name is Michael Basil. Everybody else is just a player in the game. Some people are a little bit higher levels than others, right?
Right.
The Chris Kubeckas, the Joe Grays, the Ginsbergs, the Ray Bakers, the Ritu Gills, they're higher levels than some people who don't do it as frequently. And then of course there are those that are better than the ones I mentioned that I I don't even know the names of. I may just know a handle, or
Right.
they may just be so good that they don't interact with people. That being said, though, I will say that Bellingcat as a whole is the golden standard of OSINT. They are what I want to be when I grow up. If I grow up,
Wow.
getting older is mandatory, growing up is optional.
I'm a Toys R Us kid. I'll never grow up. So,
Yeah.
uh,
So the one thing, so I fell down a Wikipedia rabbit hole about the controversy between some stuff dealing with some images that Bellingcat had analyzed using error level analysis as a point of research that someone else who was an expert in the image intelligence field kind of spoke out and said, no, Bellingcat's entirely wrong. And then the person who developed error level analysis was like, you're both right and you're both wrong. Bellingcat's wrong about this, you're wrong about this, but Bellingcat's analysis, while it is a little bit flawed in this particular scenario, the conclusion they arrive at is correct. So
okay.
the one thing about error level analysis, it really only works with JPEG files. So you got to keep that in mind.
Okay.
And that's something that I was not aware of until I fell down that Wikipedia rabbit hole yesterday. It's also on the photo forensics website. Um, so something that you can do with it, basically it's indicative. When you look at it, you can see if a picture has been doctored heavily. That's primarily what you are looking at with regards to error level analysis. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up two windows of photo forensics. Let me
Is
share my
it
screen again.
is this an example of you can tell it's chopped because of the pixels?
It's a little bit more than just the pixels, but yeah, it like that's getting into things like the concept of lossy and lossless,
Right.
and that's a little bit further than I have been. So right here I'm dropping this same image of the part the landscape here. As you can see here, I've also opened up a website called Let's Enhance.
Okay.
As you can imagine, that's what it's going to do. So what we're going to do is we are going to have it do all of the enhancements that we can get it to do. So color, tone, and light. We're going to have it at a custom size. We're going to tell it just to do a smart enhance. It's not letting me process it. Why? Maybe because I clicked these three. I am not paying for this, so that could be why.
Hmm.
I did used to pay for this platform. So, oh, status failed. That's why. Let me try this again. It failed again. 1 second. I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to see if I can shake any nuts out of the tree for it. Oh, I also see why. Give me just a moment. My privacy shields are causing problems, I believe.
Is it
So,
Romulans causing your privacy shields to? It's the Romulans, isn't
um,
it?
I will actually show you why here in a moment. Yeah, there it
Uh,
goes. So let me share the screen and I'll actually tell you, I'll show you some of the plugins that I'm using that caused the problem. So for this, I'm in a Brave browser, as you can see, right up in the top. Um, I've got uBlock Origin here.
yep. Got that one. Love it.
I've got Privacy Badger from EFF.
Okay, I haven't done that one.
And I've also got the Privacy Possum also from EFF. Privacy
Okay.
Possum kills so many websites. It makes things
Obviously.
so hard because it's where Privacy Badger is dealing with what it's phoning home to.
Right.
The Privacy Possum is doing a header inspection to some degree. So we're going to
Okay.
start processing this. Oh, I might have to buy a credit. Let me see if I can do it without that.
No.
All right, I'm going to stop the screen share and I'll buy a credit.
Why don't you? You know what? It'd be faster if I did it. If you just give me your credit card number in the chat here, that would be great. You can just.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. Um, yeah, no, I totally concur there. Um, let
Yeah, Age
me,
of Music. I feel old too. Yeah, the shopped. This looks shopped meme is from old timey days, like slash dot and everything when that was still cool. Boing boing. I remember boing boing. Yeah, yeah.
what, Slashdot's not cool anymore?
It was great 5, 6, 7 years ago when it was where you could get your IT news from. But I've been using Feedly ever since and curating my stuff. I don't know if it's just my choice of news has changed, but yeah, it's I don't know. I I never got over the UI change, and then when they got bought, which is it just kind of killed it for me on that.
Honestly, I get all my news from TikTok.
I don't know if you're truthful there. I feel like
I'm
I'm not
totally
exactly.
tongue in cheek there.
Okay, good.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah. All right, now I've got that rectified. Let me go back to the screen share. There's nothing worse than doing a demo and forgetting that it's a paid service that you've not been paying for.
Okay.
But anyway, let's go ahead. I'm going to process this. It's going to be ready in a few minutes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it into photo forensics. I am going to give you a quick heads up though. With photo
Okay.
forensics, if you're doing a sensitive investigation, do not use photo forensics.
Okay.
Here's why. I'm going to put this link in the Twitch chat. Anyone can open this image
Ah, I see.
because the URL, if we look at the URL, the ID is the SHA-1 hash dot the file size.
Right. Right.
So if you have an image and you know the hash and the file size, you can find if anyone has been analyzing it on photo forensics. So for your super sensitive investigations, no, you've got to find a
Right.
better way. Like if you're going to do error level analysis research, you need to do it somewhere else. because they
Right.
do store it. Because we can also see when this was first uploaded.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things that we can see here.
Yep.
There's that. There's no hidden pixels in it.
The file name was could also be a tip off on how things were formatted, where it was
Yep.
taken, or how it was taken.
Yep. So there's so many different variables with this.
Yeah.
All right. So this is ready. I'm just going to download it. I'm going to put it in my downloads folder so I can just drag and drop it fairly easily once I'm prompted. Oh no, look, I was working on some course material.
Uh-oh.
Slight teaser. Um, so since we've got it there, um, this is the toned image.
Okay. Too large to analyze.
Hang on.
Take
I've
some
got a
pixels
solution.
out of there. Go to Photo P and take some pixels out.
Well, where there's a will, there's a way. So let me just play with my toy here. Um, just waiting for it to load. I never thought I would see the day. Oh yeah, that's why. Um, the image proportions. I just opened this
Uh-huh.
up in MonoSnap to resize it. The image proportion is 8,000 by 8,000 and some change by 6,000 and some change.
Wow. Okay, so it's huge.
Yeah.
Aren't you so you're gonna shrink it down, you're gonna resize it. Are you worried about losing anything there or making it look more realistic or less pixely or less error prone by not doing that?
Nah, not really.
Okay.
Um, gotta do it again.
Okay.
My the file size is still way too big. So I
Okay.
dropped it down to the maximum resolution. The bigger number was 3,500. So I'm going to drop it down to 2,250. Oh, wait, nope, it did not do that. Oh, I know why. And with MonoSnap, it wants to save it as a PNG, which we
Oh.
can see ELA on a PNG, but it's not going to be as like it's not going to be telling for us. So that one's too large. And that
Yeah.
file's half the size. So I'm going to do it one more time.
Okay.
Um,
So we got somebody new who's joined us, and I'll ask his or make ask their comment when we get into it. But it makes sense. It tried to save it as a PNG, and now you've got to convert it to a lossless format to make
no,
things
I
happen.
just gotta click and say JPEG, that's all.
Oh,
But
I see. Okay.
yeah, it just um by definition, um by definition, MonoSnap always tries to do PNG first.
Oh,
All
I
right,
see.
I've got this down to 8 MB. Let's see if that's
Oh, screenshot
yep,
tool.
it
Okay. All right. Cool.
working.
All right.
Yeah, I use MonoSnap is a really cool screen shooting tool. You can also use it for like screen recording as
Yeah.
well,
Okay.
but let's compare.
Definitely different. Oh, there you go. So what is it you're looking for when you do oh, I see there's color shift. There's okay,
Yeah,
so the blacks are blacker, the what is green are now more purple, that kind of thing. So what does that tell us?
I'll show you.
Okay.
Um, so a friend of mine, Nick Roy, gave a talk at the Wild West Hackin' Fest about analyzing North Korea.
Okay.
And I'm just going to open up his video. I'm going to full screen it, and I'm going to kill audio on it, and
Okay.
I'll show you exactly what you're looking for here on ultra doctored images. So,
Okay.
got his link here. Let me drop it into
Yeah.
Twitch.
Turn on the closed captioning as well.
Oh, we don't even need to worry about that because I'm just going to
Oh.
explain it. This is like a full hour-long talk here.
Oh man.
Yeah, like this dude went hard on North Korea.
Okay. Age of Music is asking, was that the original or the enhanced version of the video? I'm assuming the picture that you analyzed.
Uh, I had the enhanced one and the original side by
Oh,
side.
okay. There you go, Age of Music.
So right here,
Mm-hmm.
this is showing how things work in
Right.
North Korea. So what he's about to do is he's about to show us a picture. So right here, notice there's not a cloud in the sky.
Right.
Great weather day in North Korea. Look at the error level analysis here. The whole absence of everything right there is indicative of it being heavily doctored.
Right. Oh God. You know what? I want to give you a picture because I know it's doctored. Oh. Okay. All right. I'm gonna do something. I'm going to give you a picture of my living room that is legitimately on a site like Zillow or what have you, which was, and I'll tell you up front, it was doctored by our company because there are certain elements in there that they wanted to massage people's thinking of in terms of, the ideal home. We're not selling our home; we're selling the idealized dream of someone else's home. So let me
Send it over via Discord, and I will see if this works actually.
public
Because I'll
view.
just take the Discord URL.
And actually, I'd love to give you. I don't want to give too much away about where I live because obviously, being a minor celebrity and what have you. Apparently, I'm the most successful podcaster to date. All right, copy image. No, save image as. So there's actually
Make sure
29 such images. Desktop. Okay, I will pop it on to our Discord discussion. 1 second. There we go. Upload file. Let me see. So I learned this that they like to put things in because it's like I said, it's the idealized version of this, and I think it should be a PNG.
Yeah, there's a watermark on it too.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I mean there definitely is a watermark, but we staged our house, so we didn't have somebody come in and do it like legitimately, um, you know. And they edited, and you can show the picture on the screen. It's just a picture of our living room. That's our sofa. We set everything up to make sure that it looked as legitimately dreamlike as possible. But
it came over
yeah.
as it um
Oh, that was really weird. Okay, let me try that again. Did that not come
no,
over for you?
it tried to come over as it's coming over as a WebP file.
What the?
It's all good.
That is because it's a well, damn it. That is because it's a WebP file. I don't know why right clicking and saving from Zillow's site made them a WebP file. Probably in size wise.
It's all
So
good. Hang on.
yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Well, I could always just take a screenshot. But so they did things like, obviously they oversaturate the colors. The day they took the pictures, it was a very cloudy day. So like your North Korean shot, they put it in blue sky. They put in
Well,
clouds.
you can look right there and see it.
Yeah.
And
What part?
looks like they got your ceiling a little bit. You can see the watermark there, and then the absence, like it looks like they've got a little bit with the door here.
Okay.
Um, that looks a little wonky there with the windows a little bit.
Right. That
Um,
is actually legitimately the view of our backyard there. So what got me is there was no fire in the fireplace. I mean, it is a working fireplace, but the fire was not on that day.
yeah, and you can see like how fuzzy that is as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. I'll tell you, like you remember when everybody was doing like the vaccination card selfies?
Right. Right.
Um, I did one and then I doctored it. I blurred everything. I wrote over it. I wrote James Bond, GCHQ headquarters, like all that. I
Yeah.
was about to post it as a PSA, and then I put it through something similar to this,
Uh-huh.
and I was able to see my name and
Okay.
everything else that's on the COVID vaccine card. So that's why
Oh
that
my
PSA
God.
never made it out into the world.
Right. So yeah, here's another one. Um, because it was funny. So this picture's of my other side of our living room. Can we talk about that tool? Which tool there at Age of Music? And it's the same thing, the same picture in the fireplace. The TV doesn't have anything on, and that is not the picture that was on there because we were in the house when they were taking the photos. We were standing behind the person taking the camera, so we knew what was going on, what was happening.
I'm not
That
gonna
tickles
lie,
my interest.
that
Oh,
the stuff that's on the TV that looks like a Microsoft Windows like background or screensaver.
yeah, the TV definitely wasn't on those. So it was just cool to see that because it's like, oh, I know what was going on that day. I know it was cloudy as hell, but it's completely blue sky because obviously they want to sell. They want to social engineer, and I've actually thought about having my realtor on to talk about some of the psychology of selling stuff,
I'm just
and
putting it
and
as a
how.
web P and we'll see directly. Um, yeah. So you can see how scrambled that is with the TV and
Yeah.
out the window. Yeah.
Uh huh. Oh yeah, they definitely yeah, they oversaturate. So the more scrambled those areas are, so the areas that are scrambled are the places they've touched up in the picture.
In the absence of things, it looks like they probably they took some of the contrast away with the lighting,
Right, right.
possibly.
They
Because the
lightened up the
light,
shadows. They lightened the shadows up.
yep, they did that as well. And
Okay.
then the fact that this is super scrambled, and then it looks like they softened the light that was reflecting on the chair
Okay.
and the image, you don't see a reflection. That is that the same image that yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the same wolf
Yeah.
picture. Yeah. On
Yeah.
on both pictures.
So yeah, with that though, I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with this. If nothing else, you can see whether something's been doctored or not.
Right. Right.
And in many cases, that's really like in an investigation for me, like doing OSINT, like if I'm doing some of the high level OSINT, that's more or less what I'm looking for. I don't necessarily care what was doctored. I just care to know whether it was doctored.
Right. Okay. So we've dissembled quite a bit, and I know that some people are probably going, "Hey, where's all the Chat GPT? We're talking about photo
Yeah.
forensics." But so we were going to talk about Chat GPT versus an analyst. I'm assuming you mean like an SE analyst or a social engineer or an OSINT analyst.
We can do all the above. Um,
Okay. Well, what
so
what do you mean by that? Chat versus this is like which one is better? Is it Chat GPT or the analyst?
versus the analyst, let's do it this way. Let me share my screen. Um, I'll ask someone who's listening that's in the chat, select a US based publicly traded company.
Huh. We have someone here named BreakSec wanting IRM. Oh, there's ZUO. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that one. ZUO.
All right, hang on. Let me get some stuff started here.
Uh-oh. He's starting all of his things up.
All right. So actually, if I'm doing OSINT, I need to be in a different browser. Actually, you
Bros.
know what? I'm not even gonna
Zuora.
go with Chrome.
Zuora.
I'm I'm
Huh.
actually gonna go into Firefox. So here's what we're
Okay.
gonna do. So we got a US based publicly traded company.
Right.
I want to disclose initially, we are going to operate off of a particular list. Knowing what has transpired in the last year in the social engineering world, I'm going to say that this is not an endorsement of social engineer org, nor is it an endorsement of Chris Hadnagy. I have nothing to say on that topic. Uh, we are using the list that contestants use in the SECTF. That's the only reason the SE org is being touched with this. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to try to answer these questions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this list. I just sent it to Brian via the Zoom chat
Yep.
so that he can use these. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I can find any of these flags faster than he can.
Okay. Wait,
And
you want me to do it? Oh my God.
you do it with ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. Let
You
me.
ask the questions to ChatGPT, and I'm going to see if I can actually operate faster or
Oh my
more
God.
accurately
Okay.
than ChatGPT.
Okay. Let me pull up the ticket links here. There we go. I was told there was going to be no math or something. So, where is it? Where's the
Don't worry, there's
link?
no math.
Oh, there it is. Oh, it's PDF. Okay. So let me see. Scroll. Okay. Is IT support handled in-house or outsourced?
Come on,
Um, have we already started?
loosely.
Okay. Is IT support? I'm going to see if I can, just actually get an answer for the first one. In-house or outsourced for ZUO. Submit. Oh, okay. Zwo offers in-house and outsourced IT support. They have extensive team of professionals who provide IT support services such as network and sysadmin, software dev, maintenance, data security, and cloud services. Their in-house team provides personalized support tailored to the customer's needs, while their outsourced services offer cost-effective and efficient solutions. BreakSec is not an endorsement or sponsored by this organization. I mean, that sounded like I was just reading their stuff. Yeah. Oh, Zuora. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it gave me the wrong answer. Let me write that one again. Does like Zuora? And yeah, I knew the code for that. I just figured it would be smart enough to tell me. Does Zuora do have I said so? I said, does Zuora have IT support handled in house or outsourced? And, maybe if I sound like an AI, then I will be able to, get an answer like an AI. Okay, so they told me they said it says yes, Zuora offers both in-house and outsourced IT support services. So I don't know if that's correct or not, but we'll have to wait and see if Joe's gonna figure it out here. Um, you do know we're doing a live demo. You know how well that works in the real world, right?
I have been sacrificing all day to the demo gods.
So I'm assuming Zuo. Let me see, Zuo. What does Zuo do? They're a wholesale furniture and modern company. That's
It
not
looks
it.
like
That's not
IKEA.
right. No, no, that's not really what they are, is it? Zuora, Zuora. Subscription and monetization. They are companies rely on Zuora to build, run, and grow modern business. Okay, so I mean, you could almost assume they have in-house IT support. Um,
Possibly.
or a hybrid
Uh,
approach. Our flexible monetization solutions will help you unlock your future growth potential. Ooh, God, feels slimy
so
just
I can
reading
tell
that.
you already, they use Global Sign as a vendor. They have Microsoft as a vendor. They have Auth SMTP as a vendor, and they have Mailgun as a vendor for zoomod.com. There's a couple of their IP ranges. So I already got that. Um,
So okay, the you beat me here because I was completely out of left field on this. But so my thought though is I know nothing about ChatGPT. If I was an expert in ChatGPT, would I be able to get that information? I am definitely not a ChatGPT expert, and so I would say in this case, somebody with a decent amount of OSINT experience would be able to
oh, here we go.
get that
Look right here.
information. What am I looking at?
So they do have in-house IT because they are hiring for an ERP position.
Okay.
Um, ERP and CRM requires a bachelor's in computer systems engineering and 2 years experience in Union City, Colorado.
Okay.
So um sales rep looks like they're also
Oh,
operating
hey,
in China.
wait a minute, Joe. I don't think this is the right company. I think he gave you a stock ticker symbol ZUO, and I think it's Zuwara,
Oh,
which is
oh,
Zuwara.com.
oh, hang on then. I'll just
But I think still the answer is yes in this case. It's ZUORA.com.
do you really do OSINT if you don't get smacked around with some captchas? My record for doing captchas, I was doing an engagement where I was opting a client out of stuff.
Right.
My record is 16.
Huh. Interesting. I've actually done those wrong so many times that it wouldn't let me back in when I started actually putting the right ones in. There was a
Yep.
couple sites
All
that I was
right.
locked out of for a couple days for that. So
So to answer the question, I can tell you based on this DNS record right here that they have both
hmm.
in-house and outsourced IT because they're using BugCrowd.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which also means they have a bug bounty program potentially.
And let's see here, they're also using Valley.email for their DMARC.
Okay. Yep, that's the site.
Um, see what else I can learn about them right here.
Age of
Um,
Music says I smell a world of Jira. Atlassian for the win. Uh, oh my
that's
god.
definitely, yeah, that's going to be Jira, Bitbucket, and Confluence, to be honest.
Yeah.
Their mail server is Google. So let's see here. Questions that we've already answered. Um, we've not answered any of those on page 8. Let's look at page 9. Mail client Google. Um,
So
okay,
I've
the
already
other,
admitted defeat, by the way. As somebody who
it's all
doesn't know
good.
how to use ChatGPT, and I also have
Right.
never been to the SECTF, so it would have been a bit difficult for me to find a lot of that information anyway. I dabble only because I don't have a Joe Gray on retainer. So
Sure you do. My Discord DMs are open all the time.
uh, So you how did you ask them that? Did you say, "Hey, what is the name of the company of Zuora's VPN?" Is that basically how you're getting all your stuff?
Um,
What
how would I act
is
like if I were to do it realistically? Here's what I would do.
hmm, what?
Oh, ha ha ha. Well now.
What's up? Oh my. Yes, there you go. So they use Cisco.
Yes. Um,
Because it's interesting because when I put in what VPN does Zuora use in Playground, it said Zuora uses the Open VPN protocol for their VPN services. So I don't
and
know.
they may. I mean,
Yeah,
that is possible.
could be one of
Uh,
their VPNs. They could have more than one. Maybe
they
their
could be using
customer
the Open
VPN is
VPN.
OpenVPN.
They can use the protocol Open VPN on Cisco products, though, I'm sure.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know why they necessarily would, but they
Or
could. They
maybe
don't have
maybe
to take
from
care.
a security point of view, they have one for work, and then the customers have a specific VPN as well. They could have something like that.
That is possible. Looking about like the IT stuff here, this
Oh
is
yeah,
exact.
job descriptions are great. Yeah.
If this don't work, then at LinkedIn's the next stop. But I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm going to pull a couple of zingers out of my pocket here in a second. So corporate IT, Salesforce,
Oh,
security. Oh, a
yep.
hello there.
Costa Rica. Wow, remote. Costa Rica. It sounds horrendous. Shouldn't. RSA, one login, Okta. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're in all three clouds: Windows servers, client Linux, Mac, iOS, Android.
Jamf, Rapid7, Digital Guardian, 1Password, CyberArk, Sentinel-1, and Carbon Black.
Jesus.
Casio. Yeah. This right
Yeah.
here, this right here would sync
Kaseya.
pretty much anybody's ship. And they've also got Windows Server, Windows Client, Linux, Mac, iOS, and Android.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I mean, this single job posting, I will say that if I were doing an investigation on them, or I was doing like some stuff to come from from if I were going to be doing like SECTF stuff on them, yeah, that's where I'd be running roughshod. If I
Right.
were doing like pen testing ahead of or like OSINT for a pen test, same thing.
So
So yeah,
I'm trying to see if it will, it says open VPN, but can I get it to say, does Zuora use Cisco VPN? No, Zuora does not use Cisco VPN. They use the Open VPN protocol for their VPN services. Um, I, I still think that and I'm not saying that ChatGPT is going to replace anybody, because there's a lot of folks out there who are always trying to replace security people with machines. I think that there's definitely still a need for trust but verify. So you could ask the question. It says, "Hey, it's using OpenVPN," but you, as the analyst, are going to have to take whatever that is with a grain of salt. And at that point, it's like, is it worth your time to actually use ChatGPT, or hey, I have enough information within me to just go and look for that quicker? It's kind of like, I can use my Hey Google over here, or I can just Google it. Hey Google, what's the weather tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Snoqualmie, it'll be raining with a high of 11 and a low of 2.
That's all I use it for. That's mine. Um,
so here's the other two things that I would do to just kind of cause chaos here.
you're going to the Instagram because all businesses have Insta now.
Don't even need it. Don't even need it, honestly. Um, going for a trip to New York.
Oh, I that's South Manhattan. We were up on 50th and 51st Street in New York for our Airbnb, so which is a couple blocks from Broadway. So yeah, that's south. That's yeah. 17 West 20th Street. By the
Yeah,
way,
same as Webster Hall. So we have that perspective. But to answer other questions, here's how I would go about it. Like, obviously,
yep,
somebody being based in New York City,
yep,
answering these questions are going to be really hard, especially being in the Flatiron district.
right, right,
But like right here, we can find out the trash company this
right,
way.
right.
Um, this is like when I competed in the SECTF. The one time I competed at DerbyCon, which was the time I won, and then the time I competed at DEF CON, which I didn't do bad. I didn't win, but I didn't do bad. This is the exact technique I used. And honestly, what you can do is you can snipe this image and then just OCR to get the phone number, or
Oh,
use reverse image search for the logo.
right, right.
But yeah, that's the way. And then with Instagram, you can see what else is there. Like in this case, with them being in this building, it's not that great. But using somebody else as an example, not that I have Walmart's corporate address memorized or anything,
Uh huh.
but yeah. Um, the amount of stuff you can find this way that ChatGPT is not going to tell you the answer to.
Right. Oh,
Like,
like badges, or yeah, yeah,
how
that
many
kind of.
times am I going to have to scroll before we see a badge? Oh,
uh,
look, Nah.
That might be a classroom. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that one too much, but it is
Oh,
not
so close.
hard at all.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, there you go.
badge,
There's your badges. There's your badges. Yep. There. Oh man, there it is right there.
I'll tell you, the C-suite wears a different color. Like you have a different color badge if you've worked there for 5 years.
Right.
And if you've been there for, I think it's 10 or 25 years, you get a different color. And if you are like the CEO, which this is his office, by the way, um, his
Oh, and
badge
you
is
get
gold.
pictures of his family and stuff on there and stuff.
Oh yeah. Like people take pictures in his office all the time. Like I don't understand why he lets people into his office. Like there's another color badge.
Wait, that's just a thing that they do there. They just let people go into the CEO's office and take a photo.
Allegedly. I
Okay.
mean,
Well,
if I want to go like full letter Kenny here, I'll just say allegedly, but yeah. Oh, here's the CEO and his badge. Look, he's worked there 30 years. Hello, Doug McMillan.
he's got a gold badge. He got gold.
Yep. So,
Nice.
and then I mean, if you want to know about their tech stack, that's not hard to do either because
Mm.
all you got to do is keep scrolling on through. Oh, look, John Legend visited them. So did the Property Brothers. There's the people responsible for the terrible music you hear at Walmart.
Oh wow.
We can find out about their food service as well because they have food service on site at home office. Oh, look,
Okay.
tech stack. Look what kind of computers they're all using.
Yeah,
Oh, and
everybody's
look,
using a Mac. Oh no, I see. Well, maybe that's a Mac.
it looks
Uh,
like they're all using Mac, but it also looks like they're using Microsoft Teams on Mac.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Their
oh, there's his
VTC
badge again.
equipment. Their VTC equipment was interesting too. There's obviously you could do a potential check for. Oh, there you go. You could do vulnerability checks based on that if you knew it was like a Logitech system or a
Oh yeah.
Cisco, or like a Surface Hub or whatever.
Oh yeah. And if I scroll enough, I can tell you there is someone who actually has a picture. I thought that was somebody I knew there for a second. From some
I actually know
infosec.
a couple people who work at in Bentonville. Yeah,
I will tell you that in my book for the business OSINT chapter, for what I could not do against No Starch Press, I used Walmart. And I will
yeah.
give them massive props because after the early release dropped, I was contacted by
Ooh,
their
big.
intelligence team and they had a lot of questions about how I found things.
Uh-oh. Well, that's cool.
No, no, I mean,
Are,
they were on top of it. I mean,
right.
there was about there were I can't remember exactly how many people were on the call. There's the Property Brothers. Um, but it was to the tune, like I know there was greater than 20 people grilling me for a good chunk of time about how I found this, how I found that, this or that associated with the stuff that was just in the book alone.
What was their thinking of being grilled? Like you gained access to their internal
No,
systems
no,
kind
no.
of thing?
They wanted to know how to improve.
Ah, I see.
Like it was not like them like, oh, you're a criminal, blah blah blah. No, no, no. It was like, hey, we recognize that you did this and it's out on the public internet anyway, and we're
Right.
not, this is not the one. There's like 5 different ways you can search through Instagram for Walmart, but basically they were like, we're interested to know how you found what you found, and if you
Right.
found anything that you think that we need to be aware of so that we can get ahead of it to be more secure. And I was like, I'm not going to hate on you in the least for this, and I
Right.
appreciate you reaching out. um you know um there's a mod, I think it may be in your Slack or Discord, that new people there, I'll leave it that way, um that was able to broker the conversation. But it was not bad at all,
That's
honestly.
cool.
Like
Very nice.
sometimes you do something like that and they're like, ah, and
Right.
this in this case, no, not at all.
Right.
Let's see what else is on the list here. Oh, Chat GPT for social engineering. Cool. I'll share the screen again and I'll show you exactly what I would do for that.
So we got one last thing before we go, but there's been a couple of stories about jailbreaking ChatGPT. And did you get on the wait list for Bard? Age of Music is asking
I
if.
have access to Bard. I have not played with Bard yet.
There you go. Seems to me like when this first started, it was harder to get access to ChatGPT than it was to get a ticket to Shmoo. And you know, for those of you who tried to get tickets to Shmoo, you know how that is. So,
There we
wow.
go.
Now, did you have to put convincing, or could you have just said write an email and get the same output? What's the difference between putting convincing?
I don't even think I didn't even play with it. I just straight up I always add adjectives whenever I'm saying something like this to Chat GPT to get better
Right.
results.
Okay. Yeah, I see. That's a syntax, though. It's like there may be something to it, like in how you phrase. Like you said, it's not how you ask, or it's not what you ask, it's how you're asking for it. So, maybe there'd be different output if you said, "Hey, write me a sad acceptance note" or something like that. Shut the front door. Okay, so for those of you, I don't even know if this is going out in audio. I don't think we can do an audio podcast of all of this, but this is not a fish. I work for Disney HR. You just socially engineered an AI. You just basically said, "I am not John Connor," and made it happen. So that's crazy.
Here, let me read the email to you in the most let me try to keep a straight face while I do it.
Good Lord.
Dear cast
That's
member, we are excited to announce a new tool that we'll be implementing at Disney, which will streamline our HR processes and make it easier for you to manage your employment with us. As part of this new initiative, we will be sending you a link that you will need to click on to access the new tool. Please note that this link will be legitimate and safe to click on. We understand the importance of protecting our cast members' personal information, and we have taken all necessary measures to ensure this link is secure and virus-free. We ask that you take a moment to carefully review the email and ensure that the link is indeed from Disney. If you are unsure or have any concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to our HR department immediately. Thank you for your continued dedication and commitment to Disney. Best regards, your name, Disney HR department.
See, I write an acceptance letter from Walmart. I just said write and it wrote me one. It just says the playground at least said, "Congratulations, we're pleased to offer you a job at Walmart as blank. We're excited to welcome you to the Walmart team and look forward to the valuable contributions you will make." Kind of interesting. It didn't even ask me, "Hey, this looks like it might be a fish or something." So let me do email, because you did email. Now that I've got access to this, that's kind of cool.
Trying this ransomware script again.
So I changed it from letter to email, and the syntax is slightly different. So depending on whether you pick acceptance letter, or acceptance email, you get a different output.
I wasn't able to social engineer it to get it to write ransomware, though. In this one, I'd have to go back to the playground.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can go that route, or
See, now that I've got this thing and I can make it work, I can start playing with it a little bit more. But my big thing was it seemed like every time I tried to get an account, it wouldn't let me have one. So it's cool that I've got that now. So oh, a possible backstory. Okay. Okay, information. Okay. Yeah, all right.
oh, look at that! It pulled out breaking down security,
Yep.
and it spelled it correctly.
He's worked with a wide range. Yeah, I know. I noticed that too. The first time breaking down security, right? Um, from small businesses to Fortune 500 companies. I guess that would be true. Very small companies up to Fortune 500s. I've worked for HP and IBM. So, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So as a byproduct, yeah, you can
That's actually
totally.
not bad. That's pretty good there. I think that's nice.
Let me hook you up.
That's yeah, that's a good that would be a great speaker bio. There you
There you
go.
go.
If you're what yeah, because I'm thinking of different utilities for this. So it's like, maybe you could write your yearly review or something like that. I mean, there are definitely good uses for this, but there's obviously, and I posted up the jailbreak chat stuff. There's some things like you showed that it would not do things like a fish, but you were able to get away around that, right? Some people have mentioned the use of creating things like explosives or creating methamphetamines, or it'll tell you the ingredients with which to make explosives or methamphetamines by using the examples in the jailbreak chat up there that I posted in chat. Obviously, don't do stupid shit with the URL I gave you, even though people are doing stupid shit on that. So do not do stupid stuff. So, oh, see, so the something went wrong is something that I've hit with before. I'm about to have a call with the person in Joplin, talking points about, but not mentioning the tornado. Yeah, 100%. That's pretty nice.
Oh noes.
And there you go. I didn't know Joplin was known for its jazz. That's interesting. I used to live in Springfield, so, but I
I used
went
to
to
live in
Joplin
St.
like
Louis.
once. Yeah.
So let's try this again over in. So the playground is GPT-3. This is GPT-4.
Oh, I see. Okay. This is the new hotness. So this is the one that everybody wants to get on because it's better than what was before.
Correct.
Diverse food scene. Okay. Okay. Ozark Mountains.
Oh, look at that. Remember to listen actively, engage in two-way conversation to build rapport with the person.
Nice. Yeah, that's actually quite good. See, my thing is, what is I wondered. You said it's read about. I think I read that it had read about 11% of the internet, the whole internet. Assuming that they actually have a quantifiable 100% for that. Um, is it all just feels like it's doing a fancy Google search and taking that data and putting it in. So it's
Okay, I don't trust this anymore because I told it to tell me the best steakhouses and look at what number 3 through 5 are.
the gourmet hot dogs. Yeah, Outback is not a steak house per se. I mean, they do have steaks. Now you said best though. I mean, best to
I
you
did,
is subjective, or to
yeah,
Chat GPT.
I will say that I don't know anything about these because I've never been to Joplin.
Right,
I knew that you previously lived in Missouri, and I previously lived in Missouri, and neither of us are in Missouri, so that's why I
right,
chose it.
right.
So in that case, um, I mean, if I were going to Joplin, I would look up Red Oak or Wilders.
Yeah,
But basically, with this, if I were doing social engineering, I will tell you the hardest part of social engineering is keeping your lies straight. That's why another reference to Missouri here. Um, I started each of the three sections in practical social engineering with a Mark Twain quote. And my favorite Mark Twain quote as it relates to social engineering is the hardest part about telling your lies is keeping them straight.
right,
And that's the hardest part in social engineering. If you are face to face with someone or you are vishing on the phone, those are the two hardest parts. You've got to keep your lies straight because, like, if somebody calls me up, I'm gonna grill them up one side and right back down the other to try to make them fumble up on something.
right.
That's how I roll if I get an unsolicited phone call. So, to that end, um, just doing like getting this backstory stuff right here. Um, like being able to talk about like Joe Becker Stadium,
Right.
like being able to pull that out. Like, we all know how obnoxious Alabama football fans are. If you mention Bryant Denny Stadium, you instantly have rapport with an Alabama fan. Just like if you mention Ben Hill Griffith Stadium in Florida, commonly known as the Swamp, Florida Gator fans,
Right.
same thing. So
Right.
this right here, it's a perfect case for this. Like you can use it to create some phishing emails. Like obviously you're going to want to tweak it a little bit, but at the same time, it's giving you some leverage to operate off of. And you can always, like if I were doing a phishing call, I would subtly mention things like the Wildcat Glades Conservation and Audubon Center. Be like, oh, have you been to Wildcat Glades lately? Or something like
Right.
that, just to build a rapport. Because even though I'm nowhere near Missouri right now, I would probably want them to feel as if I were, or if I had a connection to it.
Right.
So
Right.
this is ultimately what we would want to do regarding the whole using it for social engineering. And with OPSEC, just looking at the subtopics here, OPSEC with ChatGPT, you're not going to be able to get ChatGPT to make things disappear, but you can tell it to say, um,
You're not gonna. I think some people might be worried about it being able to dox people in some
I
cases,
don't
or
think for the
uncover.
most part, I don't think it is.
Really?
No, because look, it says I was in the army and that I was an intelligence analyst. I navigated submarines.
Awesome. You sound like a
So
secret agent or something.
like if you put the word OSINT in this, it will actually tell you, like it will make you sound like James Bond.
I'm.
This is not I will say that aside from the working in Intel and Army thing, this is not necessarily bad. I would totally use it. But you can use it to create backstories. If you don't like what's here, if it's too accurate on GPT-4, just go over to the playground.
See, I want you to ask it a question because this is the new Chat GPT. I just asked the playground. Oh, I just no, I'm sorry. I just asked the playground the same thing. I said, "I am Brian Brake. What is my home address?" And it said, "Oh no, you can't answer this question as we need permission or whatever." So there's some things. I mean, I couldn't say, "Hey, I'm Joe Gray. Where do I live?" Or it sounds like that they do have some controls in those things. So oh. Okay, good. Oh, jeez. I was like, should I have you turn off the camera before you that? Oh my goodness. Um, wow. Yeah.
Huh.
That's good. Oh, can you? Yeah.
And
White
here come the
pages,
data
right?
brokers.
Yep. Spokio, yeah. Spokio used to be good, and then you have to pay for their stuff now.
Yeah, hang on.
True People Search. Oh, hmm. It has ethics.
Oh, it tells me to use a VPN.
Wow. Do you think that they're getting, okay,
Oh
yeah.
God.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck. Oh, wow.
Oh God. So ExpressVPN and CyberGhost are owned by Cape Technologies, which rebranded to Cape Technologies after they got caught selling spyware. Do not use either of the two. Nord, they've had their problems.
Proton VPN, yeah. Surfshark.
That's another Cape Technologies. If you're doing a search for best VPN, Cape Technologies owns most of the VPN review sites. Oh,
Colar's
well,
advanced persistent exploitation.
I don't think this is the same one.
Mm.
But yeah, hang on.
Cape.com. CAPE.com.
KAPE.
Yeah, I'm sorry, KAPE.com.
I'm trying to
CyberGhost,
find the
ZenMate,
one.
and Tigo,
Um,
web lenses,
yeah, I mean,
Websilence.
why are they paying almost $1 billion for a VPN that charges $11.99 a month and really is not that good?
Mm.
I mean, Express, in my opinion, wasn't that good before.
$936 million. Wow.
Oh, this is
So
a different one. Never mind. This is a different controversy.
their integrity has been called into question after a single employee worked as a mercenary for the UAE. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, there are far more um hostile countries, but
Yeah.
here we go. This is what I was looking for.
We call it expanding our marketing footprint.
Yeah. So
I actually don't endorse any VPN provider because they all have to keep logs now. So even the
well,
anonymous
here's the
ones.
thing. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you're doing on the internet. Somebody somewhere is going to have logs. Somebody somewhere is going to have access to it. I would rather than be upfront about it and just tell me straight up, yeah, okay.
True.
Um,
Very true.
I also I take into account the country that they are located in, the privacy provisions in that country. Like with Proton, for example, Proton is only required and mandated to share their log data with the Swiss authorities. Molvad
Nobody
is
expects the Swiss Inquisition. So
one moment, please. I got to mute for a second.
wow. Feel like I need to put up the we spilled beer on the server meme. There's another one there. Age of Music. Spilled beer on the server.
Yeah. But for example, Molvad is based in Switzerland. Switzerland is a 14 eyes country. So there's a higher probability that your data is going to get shared from there. That
Right.
being said, though, as of I think September of 2021, maybe, Proton shared information about a French user
Right.
who was using Proton VPN to commit crimes. The French
Right.
authorities went to Proton and Proton said, no, we're not giving you the data. So the French authorities basically got with the Swiss authorities, and what the person had done in France was also a crime in Switzerland. So Switzerland actually summoned the data from Proton and then turn it
Oh.
over to the French, similar to an extradition.
Right.
But basically, if you're going to do something like super illegal anyway, I mean, please don't use a VPN. I mean, all VPNs are ran by the feds. Or at least that's what I read. I'm totally being tongue in cheek here. But, at the same time, don't, if a VPN is your sole source of privacy, you're probably doing it wrong. And with Surfshark, I'm fairly confident that Surfshark is owned by Cape as well. I will say that in my entire technology stack, the two things I hold most sacred is my password manager and my VPN, because those two things, if either or both of those are compromised, I am a cooked goose.
According to this, Surfshark in 2021 merged with Nord Technology. So NordVPN actually owns
Oh, Nord
Surfshark.
has Surfshark. Okay, that's a little bit more promising. Nord is not terribly bad either. And the thing about Nord is they're based in Panama on paper. So they have to share with the Panamanian authorities. Everybody's going to share with the authorities. Like, that's one of my problems with DuckDuckGo. Everybody being like, oh, you do OSINT, you must use DuckDuckGo. Or I saw the commercials about DuckDuckGo and they don't read our stuff. No, DuckDuckGo, what they do is they don't sell you ads. They affix affiliate links to your search results and repeat your search results into Bing. That's all it is. And if you want to know more about that, I actually wrote a blog post, not necessarily about that aspect of DuckDuckGo, but they were setting up the duck.com email addresses, and everybody in the OSINT world was talking about it. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went and I started looking through their terms of service, and I read a few things that kind of confused me about it, right? Like, how can you run a disposable email service to remove trackers and how can you do this if you don't read some form of email? How does this work for end-to-end encryption, right? They say they never save your email, but they don't say that they don't collect context of your email, right? And then, with that, there's a difference between we do not save and it's not parsed.
Right.
And then the other stuff, like they don't use it for that. Okay. They just said personal information. They did not define what personal information is. DuckDuckGo is also based in the United States. So we both know, based on previous leaks and revelations, what they can be compelled to provide via warrant subpoenas and national security letters.
Right.
They also say that they don't use third-party email services to forward the email. Cool. Does that mean that they built something in-house? Has it been audited? Has it been pen tested? But, with that, the ownership change, yeah, no, I don't really think that's the case. So, if you want to read up on it, go dig through their terms of service. I would not hang my hat too heavily on them. I treat them just like any other thing. Like, I mean, is Google evil? I mean, yeah, sort of. Are they the most evil? Maybe not. Have I somewhat de-Googled? Yeah. The only thing I manage in Google now is basically my calendar. But I still have ties to Google. I still use Google search engine very heavily because, quite honestly, it's one of the most accurate. So, do I use it as my sole search engine? No. If I'm searching for something, I'm using Google. I'm using Bing. I'm using Yandex. I'm using Gaburu, Metager. I may even go looking at Kiddle or even Halal Google, depending on what it is I'm looking for. If I'm looking in certain parts of the world, I may use Naver. I may use Mojik. I may use Parseju, Baidu. I'm not going to hang my hat on it. I'm not going to restrict myself from using any of it. But yeah, that's a whole rant that I can go on for days. So we'll just leave that one right where it is.
Right on.
I see we've been
So-
going for a while.
I know we're at 2 hours. This is probably one of the longer shows I've done, which is great. But
You can always do what I do and split it in half and get two for the price of one.
well, yeah. I'm not sure some of this is going to translate well to audio podcasters, so we'll probably just leave it as a VOD, and I'll use my Tuesday interview for that. But Yeah, I wanted to catch your slides before you left because you've got a book out. You got some training
Yes.
coming up. You're going to have an exclusive deal for BreakSec Twitch subscribers and followers and VOD
Absolutely.
listeners.
So I don't have any deals for practical social engineering, but if you watch No Starch, they typically drop deals on most holidays, and then just sometimes they feel cute and they cut a deal.
Yeah.
This has not been included in any humble bundles yet, but it may be.
Okay.
But if you want to buy it on Amazon, I'm going to preface everything here with you're going to see OSINT.mobi throughout all of these. OSINT.mobi is my bit.ly redirect domain. It's just to make it easier for translation. That's all it's for. So that's it. If you click it, I can't see that you click it. I can see how many people have clicked it, but I can't see who.
Right.
So PSC-Amazon or PSC-No Starch. If you purchase the physical copy from No Starch, you also get the digital copy immediately as well.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of incentive to go that route. You will pay full sticker price. I think you get maybe like a $3 discount if you go on Amazon.
Are you doing an audiobook for it? Are you reading the book yourself?
I have read 3 chapters, but I still have procrastinated myself into forgetting to reach out to No Starch because I cannot upload things into Audible without their consent.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, it's good. They're
Yeah.
they're the publisher. I mean,
Right.
I'm glad that protection is there because it keeps, any other person from being able to do the same.
That's true. It keeps me, I can't read your book and upload it to Audible or put it somewhere where somebody could get it or download it. Yeah. Makes
Correct.
sense.
So, I mean, Amazon, I've got thoughts about Amazon, but that's one thing that, I'm on board with for sure.
Right.
Right. If you're interested in purchasing courses from the Ascension, you can do so at theascension.com/courses/store. I do bundles as well. I have some bundles that I've already spelled out. But if you want a custom bundle, just email bundles@theascension.com. To that end, I also do one-on-one investigation experiences. The courses associated with them are prerequisite for it, though. So you have to take the baseline course before that. I've also started offering one-on-one private training. Currently, my course catalog, I have People OSINT, which is really good for Trace Labs events, private investigators, people who are investigating people. I have a course about investigating businesses. I have an OPSET course. The people and business course are 8 hours. The OPSET course is 6 hours. I also have an image intelligence course where we talk about error level analysis, reverse image search, metadata, stealing YouTube videos and that kind of stuff. That's a 4-hour course. I have
There
a
you go,
4-hour
Agent
search
Music.
engines course.
Yep.
I just released an introduction to intelligence report writing course that's about 4 hours as well. OSINT using Recon NG, and introduction to cryptocurrency investigations, regular expressions for intelligence, and an intro to intelligence course as well. All those are 4 hours. So
Nice.
we can do all of that. I also have on-demand courses. Coincidentally, 4 of the courses that I mentioned are already on demand. The prices are different because it's on demand, but you can access that at academy.theascension.com. I'm currently working on remastering a couple of courses, and then I will be releasing regular expressions for intelligence and applied social engineering, which is the companion course to the book.
Very cool.
Um,
Okay.
there are bundles there. You can also get webinar replays there as well. Here's the upcoming live course schedule, actually. So May 6th, or I'm sorry, that's May 7th. I changed the date. I'm sorry, I had to open up the Saturday. So May 7th, I will be teaching image intelligence, optical character recognition, and video analysis. And then taking a 1-hour break and teaching regular expressions for intelligence. June 10th, I'm sorry, June 10th is not image intelligence. Let me fix that. It's been a day.
That's all right, man.
I just have to say it's been a day. It's not been a bad day, but it's been a day.
Well, we're jet lagging still. Our bodies still think it's like 11:30. We're on East Coast time still, so
Oh yeah.
makes sense.
All right. So now this is actually accurate. So May 7th is imint and regular expressions. June 10th is Practical OPSEC for Intelligence and Privacy. July 15th. Hang on. I just caught myself again.
No.
Like I said, it's been a day. Not a bad day or a good day. It's just been a day. This is what happens when you stay up too much and don't sleep enough. Anyway, July 15th, from noon until 4, it'll be OSINT using Recon NG. This covers all the way from the installation to doing things with Recon NG. I show you my favorite modules. I show you how to import and export data. And then I show you a few tips and tricks that you won't learn in other courses that will make you run laps around people and look like a rock star. After that, I'll be teaching the introduction to report writing. So, y'all ready for some coupon codage?
Yes. I'll be in
All
San
right.
Diego on July 15th. Okay.
I will be at an undisclosed location teaching on July 15th.
Oh, nice.
Use coupon code payroll. That'll get you 40% off all live courses. I also, on the courses page, I also have placeholders. So if I don't have one scheduled, you can go ahead and purchase it using this code and just redeem it at a later time when I offer a course. Same thing with one-on-one private courses and the investigation experiences, because the on-demand material is already really cheap, or should I say inexpensive. It's only 25% off the on-demand stuff. Beyond that, if you're interested in watching the Ascensions streams, YouTube, podcast, etc., osint.mobi/ you guessed it. Well, osint.mobi, you guessed it, / Twitch / YouTube / Spotify or / podcast. That'll get you to all those places. If you're interested in the Ascension Discord / Discord, and we're also members of OSINtelligence on LinkedIn. If you want to join that as well, I'm one of the moderators there. Here are links to mine and the Ascension's social media as well. Linktree has everything, but if you're looking for one thing in particular, it's there.
There you go. Okay.
But yeah, let me stop the screen share and
very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm glad I always learn something when I'm with Joe. Just going from his classes, he's always building his repertoire, his tool set. I'm glad that I know you and that you're a friend of mine and not on the other side. But yeah, it's great to see how you've grown with the Ascension and some of the stuff that you're doing. They actually do active investigations on the Ascension Discord. I put an invite link there, discord.gg/the UDNW. It's good for another 7 days from the day this was posted, which is the 16th of April. So, but it's just awesome to see what you and your team and your folks are on Discord are doing. So it's awesome to see, and you're helping out people, which is great. Unlike some other SE folks in our industry did poor things, and so it's good to see something good come out of social engineering and OSINT stuff. So
yeah, and honestly, Trace Labs uses the hashtag OSINT for good. And I've seen it used by other people for like marketing stuff, but realistically, here's the thing: like OSINT and social engineering, they're kind of like superpowers, but not really. If you know how to use them a certain way, they can be.
right.
And I just don't see a way. I don't see a reason to be negative about it. I've never subscribed to there's a finite amount of success. I see that there's more than enough success to go around. So I don't have to put someone down or, backbite someone to be successful. Like if someone comes into my server and they ask questions, I try to keep it as welcoming as possible, solely for the fact of we've all been there. We've all had a question. We've all been like, hey, what's the deal with this? Or, hey, I'm stuck with this. You don't beat someone over the head for asking you a question. You encourage them to ask more questions, because through my time teaching, I think I taught the first course for the Ascension back in 2019 or 2018. I don't remember, honestly, but I've learned as much from some of the questions that the students have asked than I have learned from trying to do my own research. Because when you're around other like-minded people, it's one of those cases where when they ask a question a certain way, it prompts you to think for a response. But at the same time, if you reflect upon it, it opens up other avenues. Like I would not have thought about certain things if people hadn't have asked those questions, whether it be a student or just someone in the Discord. Like, hey, is it possible to go from this data point to this data point? And then, I have to stop and think, okay, say username, for example, what can I get with a username? Okay, well, I can find accounts. Okay, I found accounts. That's not going to give me a whole lot. Can I get an email address from an account? Yes, I can. So I get an email address. What can I get with that? I can get a password. What else can I get from data breach information? An IP address. So yeah, it is possible to go, point to point to point to point to point. So as a byproduct, that's just what it is. And I don't want to be one of those people that it's like, I'm better than you and you know it. That's just, there's a pro wrestler that uses that punchline and it works really good for his bad guy persona, but that's just not me. I'm a
Right.
student of the game just like everybody else. I've just got a little bit more experience. And if I can give back and help somebody, there's a few private investigators that they've reached out and said, hey, this family's looking for their missing child. They don't have a budget to spend on anything else.
Right.
Would you and the members of your Discord be open to doing a crowdsourced investigation to try to find this little girl? And I'm like, yeah, give me the details. What do you got? And that's exactly what we tried to do. And, we've not been doing a lot of ops lately, but it's one of those cases like if we have a, things hitting the fan moment, yeah, I'll mobilize that in a second just because that's it. Sometimes you do things to get rich. Sometimes you do it because you like to do it. Sometimes you do it because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
I don't care if I get rich from all of this, as long as I'm able to at least break even, I'm more or less happy, break
Right.
even and stay afloat. But, enabling other people to meet their objectives and do the right thing is the most important aspect, in my opinion.
Very nice. Yep. Man, yeah, I've learned a lot. I'm definitely going to be playing with the ChatGPT, even though it's the older version. It's like having a Pixel 6 instead of a Pixel 7. So you've got the tried and true tested version.
I would hate on you for using Android, but I will say this: if I were going to use Android, I would use a Pixel.
Right. I've used the Pixels ever since they came out, and even had the Google phone before that. So yeah,
My last Android was the Droid 3, I think.
Oh,
I
wow.
moved over to iPhone
Okay.
at the iPhone 5, I think.
Yeah. I picked up an iPhone SE because I want to use some AirTags in my pod when we moved down to San Diego, and you get a 4-pack of these for like $89. The problem is they only work with iPhones.
Oh, you ready for the gotcha on that?
I'm sure there is because it's Apple. So
If you're a veteran shipmate, you can go through ID.me and
okay,
get 4 AirTags for I think $60.
okay,
Yeah, the veteran discount will work on AirTags as well as any Apple product, really.
right.
When I traveled last year, I bought a 4-pack of AirTags and I hid them all over the place. So I had one in my suitcase, I had one in my backpack. Oh, actually, I took 2 suitcases. So yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And you said they don't work with the SE?
No, they work with the SE. They work with an iPhone. I'm not an iPhone
Okay.
person, so I actually
Yeah.
had to buy an iPhone SE so that I could do the Find My. And I used them in
Well,
New York to great effect. We left one in my Airbnb and I walked away. And after a while, I got the little alert on my iPhone. I didn't activate the iPhone with anything other than a data SIM, and I tethered it to my phone, so I don't have a phone number on that for that. But yeah, it was like I just wanted technology that was kind of good, easy to use, and this was it, unfortunately.
yeah,
So
I've been seeing
Samsung
ads
smart
on
things and stuff is just kind of I'm just not a fan.
seen ads lately for there's a company making low profile wallets with adapters that you can hide AirTags in it. Well, you're not hiding them, you're just putting it in your wallet. I don't think that would be comfortable to sit on, but hey,
Right. Yeah,
Um,
I don't put my wallet in my back pocket. Well, I don't have any back pockets. After I started having sciatica, it was always in my front pocket to keep from having issues with that. So
I will
or
say that
damage.
whenever I travel, I may have a wallet full of Monopoly money in my back pocket. And I may have my actual real money in my belt, front pocket, shoe, sock, everywhere else. Because I
Nice.
do go full tinfoil paranoia when I travel outside the country, just because, especially if it's a non-English speaking country. Um, but yeah, I mean, from that same lens, I mean, you've got an iPhone SE on a data plan. You can totally use that to create all your fake accounts now, because the easiest
Yeah.
way to create a fake account is via their mobile app.
Very nice. I put this ad tag in the only place they wouldn't find it. No, I'm sorry. That was an awful walk-in and awful fiction reference. Um,
Yeah, you probably don't want to be keister and AirTags.
yeah. They don't fit right. um, anyway, yeah, I I always love talking to you, Joe, and I'm glad you were able to get that out there. Definitely take the training. I took the missing persons training. I probably derailed it more than we actually learned something in that class, if I remember correctly. I kept derailing the conversation, but
No, not at
um,
all. The
I
conversation is never derailed. I take a very Bob Ross approach. It's always happy accidents.
happy accidents. Okay. But yeah, I took his missing persons course. That was kind of fun to check out those various things. That's been about a year and a half, I think, since we've done that. But yeah, Joe, thank you so much for coming on. And everyone should check out the OSINT resources. Check out the links in the chat here. Those are all still good to go. And check out Joe when he's on YouTube and what have you. So there you go. All right. Well, I think that's it for Breaking Down Security, at least for this stream. We'll be back on Tuesday. We have an insider threat discussion that's going to be talking with a Miss Lindsay Wolf, and we're going to be doing a discussion on that. So I hope we have good discussion there, and hope you'll come back for that. So I'm Brian Brake for Amanda Betcher. Amanda Betcher. Oh my God.
Whoa, boy! Ho.
Well, after all the Berlining down security jokes, I think I'm owed one. So, Amanda Berlin, Brian Betcher, and myself, thank you. Have a great week. Be kind to one another. Take care of yourself, as we're fond of saying, because you're the only person you have. You're the only you have. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye, everybody.